Look at this. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
It is time for us to shine. It is time for us to be heard. It is time for us to make sure that they know we will not go.
Emotional damage.
We will see you in the courts, in Congress, in the streets. Elon Musk is a Nazi Nepo baby.
Emotional damage.
And we will win.
We will win.
We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest. We won't rest.
Oh, we are so we are doomed.
Opinions vary.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Opinions Varied. It's Opinions with an A. Please like, share, and subscribe. And you know it's bad for the Democrats when you have Jimmy Kimmel wrecking them on his late night show. Democrats getting wrecked on CNN for that stunt they pulled yesterday outside of USAID, trying to protest Elon Musk and Doge for cutting the ridiculous spending that agency's been doing for decades, our money, our tax dollars, and he's doing exactly what he's been tasked to do. He's doing exactly what we voted for. We voted for Donald Trump to have Elon Musk go into these government agencies and find where all the fraud, waste, and abuse is. And that's exactly what he's doing, and he's just getting started. This is just agency number one, and he's saving billions of dollars a day. So that's the hill. I did a video on this yesterday. I'll put it up top. That's the hill. These Democrats want to go out and have press conferences and protests in front of buildings. Knock yourselves out. You are so out of touch with the American public at this point. I think at this point, you're very close to being done. You're this close to being done. And I'm going to show a segment right now on Fox News with Harris Faulkner. And she's going to have a few people on a panel, some Democrats, a couple of independents, a couple of Republicans, and they who all did vote for Donald Trump based on one issue mainly, immigration. And this is the issue that the Democrats, they just don't seem to want to get in line, and it's going to cost them their party because this one goes across all spectrums, and we're going to see that right here. Let's go.
We have heard from the president, lawmakers, pollsters, and pundits. Now it's time to hear from the voters. It's voters' voices. And with me in the front row, Mary Josephine, an independent, Jamil, Democrat. And in the back row, Teresa, Republican, Stephanie, Democrat, and I understand recently switched to independent, which is not a political party, but certainly a frame of mind. We'll get into it. And Robin, a Republican. For all of you, I know you voted for Trump. Some of you were with me on election night, and welcome back. It's great to see you guys. All right.
So right there, we have four women. I thought women didn't want to vote for Donald Trump. Remember, that's all you heard? No women were going to vote for Donald Trump. And you have a black man. And all voted for Donald Trump. And you'll see what they think of the job he's doing.
Jamil, I'm coming to you first. You are a college at the University of Chicago. You are a Democrat. You now call yourself a conservative Democrat. First of all, how is the president doing on his number one promise with getting out the worst of the worst illegal immigrants?
He's been doing a great job so far. I wake up every day and I read the headlines and I get impressed by his creativity, but I also think he can go further, such as with his bid to end birthright citizenship. He could start printing papers for the undocumented children here that are currently being born, and then force the foreign governments of the country of origin to accept those citizenship papers diplomatically. And I also think, I go to Chicago and I see the immigration crisis at the forefront in front of my school on the corners. I don't think we should wait until unpopular mayors like Brandon Johnson lose their elections. I honestly think if mayors like him obstruct Tom Homan or President Trump, they should be arrested. They should be indicted, put on trial, because they weren't afraid to put him on trial when he was just running for office. So I would say let the voters in the community talk about, is using taxpayer dollars against common sense policies, is it illegal? And I think you would see that Mayor Brandon Johnson, so many other mayors would be criminally charged.
You don't sound like a conservative Democrat, young man. You sound like a full-fledged conservative. In fact, you run for office and you talk like that, I'm voting for you, okay? It's that simple. Keep up the good work.
What are you studying? I mean, I came up with several careers right there. You could be a political analyst, you could be an attorney. Thank you for all of that. And it sounds like you've made a migration now, at least in your mind and politically. We'll have to see how you vote in the future, but that's so interesting. We have another Democrat among us, and that is Stephanie. And I understand now you're leaning more independent, maybe not exactly one party or the other. You just heard from 𝐸𝐵𝐽. What would you like to add to that?
So I think the country is the most divided it's ever been in my lifetime. The Democratic Party doesn't represent my values as much anymore. I think it's shifted so much from kind of the Clinton era party that I grew up on.
Right there. She's 100% right. I voted for Bill Clinton in 1992. It's the first time I was ever eligible to vote. And if you listen to Bill Clinton, in his speeches from that era, he sounds like Donald Trump. With immigration, he sounds like Donald Trump. With law enforcement, sounds like Donald Trump. Bill Clinton of that era wouldn't even be allowed in the DNC within probably a 5-block radius of the DNC at this point. So she's absolutely right. Hey guys, if you're still watching, I really appreciate it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the like button right now. Subscribe. I do one video a day at least. If I don't do one video, it's because of circumstances that were beyond my control and I couldn't get it done. But please like, share, and subscribe and help me grow this channel. I appreciate it.
And I think now it's kind of representing these really elitist, maybe even socialist ideals. I'm a mother of 4 kids. I have real concerns. I have, really immediate issues that I want to make sure are addressed. And I think as an independent, I can use my own brain. I can have an open mind and a critical ear and look at candidates for who they are and what they represent, and if that mirrors my values. As far as adding on to Trump's border policies, immigration, birthright citizenship, I think the Constitution was meant to be reevaluated and debated in this incredible country that we live in.
No, not true. If you want to change the Constitution, that's called the amendment process. The Constitution says what it says, and it means what it says, and it's not to be interpreted and debated. That's part of the problem here. That's why we are where we are, because we've allowed people to interpret it. No, it says what it says. It wasn't written for lawyers. It was written for regular people. That's what the Constitution was written for. It wasn't written in legalese. If you read the Constitution, it's pretty straightforward.
Is built on discourse and debate and discussion and smart people coming together to solve big problems in a constructive way. So
that's called the amendment process. Again, Constitution as it is what it is.
We can have this incredible liberal democracy that we live in, which is a given.
We're not a democracy. So about 4 times now after I said she was right, she's been wrong. But okay, she voted for Trump. I'll give her a pass.
Take. You have to balance your independent identity with serving the good of a greater society as well, and we've lost that. We have...
Again, you could tell she's a Democrat. We're going into the greater good and stuff like that, and but it is amazing. This is somebody that Donald Trump reached to vote for him. That just tells you how broad his appeal is and how skilled he is at what he does, that he got her to vote for him. Because let me tell you something, listening to her speak, she's a dyed-in-the-wool Democrat. So that just tells you everything you need to know about how good Donald Trump is.
This kind of entitled, I deserve...
Or maybe it tells you how bad the Democrats are. Maybe a little bit of both.
...everything attitude, and I think that's kind of ruling the roost right now.
Well, it's interesting. You were both you and 𝐸𝐵𝐽, obviously. 𝐸𝐵𝐽, you're originally from here in New York City, I believe. So, and you're now in Chicago. You guys are from sanctuary cities. So as former or current kind of moving Democrats, if you will, it doesn't entirely surprise, I would imagine, most people because of what you're living through right now.
I don't put my kids on the subway. I don't walk alone at night anymore in New York City. So it's not the city that we lived in. Yeah.
Well, that tells you right there. Crime, immigration, these are just bread and butter issues that the Democrats just don't seem to understand, and let them not keep understanding it, because the longer they don't, the longer we win.
Actually, I don't have to imagine. We see it every day in the city. Homeland Security Department numbers now show that in Trump's first 2 weeks in office, today is day 16, agents have arrested nearly 9,000 people for immigration violations, and there have been nearly 5,700 deportations or removals. Border czar Tom Homan had this warning for sanctuary cities.
Sanctuary cities are responsible for deaths of thousands thousands of young children throughout my career, and we're going to sue them. We're going to hold them. And look, if he's got to go to the Supreme Court, that's what President Trump's wanted to do. He will end sanctuary cities. Sanctuaries are sanctuaries for criminals, bottom line.
All right, Teresa, I want to go directly to you. I mean, one of the things that we've seen with Tom Homan, the border czar, is immediate. He got started before anything because he didn't need a Senate confirmation to hold the role that he has.
I think this is a very sensitive topic, and I am a little wishy-washy on it because I believe that America is home of the free, home of the brave. We're a melting pot. My great-grandparents came over from Italy, and that's important for who we are as a country.
Legally, they came over. Big difference.
But that's why I voted President Trump, because he has been so adamant about his decisions, about what he believes. He stands by it. And that's why I voted for him, because for someone who maybe is uncertain about certain issues, you need a leader that is going to put his foot down and say, okay, I'm going to help you out. Let me make the decision and let me do it fast and the right way.
You know, you told my team, and I thought this was, we don't have to go into the whole story, but you and your husband were kind of talking last evening.
I didn't know if you were
getting ready for today. Oh, no. My team is copious note-takers.
It's like a college party.
Yeah,
and that's gotten out of hand. And the only way to bring it back is to kick everyone out. And you want, you know, your food, your alcohol back, you want your clean place back, wow. And that's the only way to do it.
Yeah, and
that's what I say. Everybody that's here illegally, I don't care if you're a violent criminal or not. If you're here illegally, you're a criminal and you got to go.
I said, look, it may seem like, you know, a light way to compare it, but what you're talking about is sovereignty in your own home.
Yep.
And we don't take that lightly. Maybe we have in recent years, but not now. Mary Josephine, I know that you say you're an independent. You voted. Had you ever voted Republican before now?
I was a Republican previously, yes. And what I felt, you know, many years back that the Republican Party had left me. It didn't really have the values that I had. You know, I speak for all Americans. I think that Americans generally are united in everything. And unfortunately, politicians have forced this upon us. I mean, shame on the politicians for many years, not handling the immigration policies and not handling what was happening to our country. I mean, Reagan, back in the day, gave amnesty to so many people, and we thought that the border would be secure. We thought.
Biggest mistake of Reagan's presidency, making a deal with Ted Kennedy. That's why I say, the Republicans, you have control now. I don't care if you have a slim majority in the House. Figure it out. You have 53 seats in the Senate. Get it done through reconciliation. Do not deal with Democrats. You will lose if you make a deal with Democrats. You don't have to. Don't do it.
But we were going to handle this illegal immigration policy. We didn't. And then we had manuals given out to Mexico during the Bush administration on how to get here, and, you know, for humanitarian reasons. And,
no, it wasn't.
You know, we fast forward.
Don't be fooled. It wasn't humanitarian reasons. George Bush is a globalist. Okay, we've learned so much about George Bush since he's been gone from the White House. George Bush was a globalist. His donors wanted a lot of people to flood the country so they could hire cheap labor. We know that.
To the last administration, and it's a free-for-all. I mean, our country is not safe. It's a national security issue. I left New York City to move to North Carolina, and I was telling Robin earlier that here I am thinking I'm leaving New York City because it would be safer elsewhere, and we have Venezuelan gangs doing home invasions 2 or 3 houses down from us. I mean, it's a scary situation. I feel for everybody that's here. I feel that if you came here, you wanted to work hard, you want to provide for your families, absolutely you should. But it's been so out of hand that everything's been given to everybody but Americans that I think you have this real anger with the American people. And what Trump did was he united all these different political parties. It's people who never thought they would vote, you know, for a Republican president, did so because they want a safe country. They want New York City to be the way it used to be. They want it to be safe. They want it to be clean. They want to be able to go to a restaurant, have a good time, not worry about walking down the street. It's unfortunate that we're in this situation.
It's not unfortunate. It's intentional. It's all by design. Just their plan got foiled again by Donald Trump.
Well, that is so critically important, the ground that you just laid, because we talked about Democrats shifting. We had not talked about Republicans feeling like they had maybe been left behind. And you mentioned Robin. She's in the back row to the right here. So I know you guys spent some time together in the green room, maybe even previously. When you hear her speaking, I want to know the texture of the conversation you had, because I don't think that we have anything in our notes other than Republican for you, and I knew you on election night.
Yeah, we were just discussing how this issue, I've said that I think the issue of immigration is a really unique issue because I don't think it's as much a political issue as people have certain feelings about it based on their own experiences in their life.
By the way, excuse me, I see everybody nodding with you.
Cool.
Go ahead, Robin.
I think, yeah, I don't know that it's a Democrat-Republican issue as much as what we've experienced as citizens in this country. So some people who are here on green cards, they have a different view than people who are here that feel that they are getting their resources taken away from them. I also think that as a parent, it's a very different situation. I have a 12-year-old son. Hi, Rafa. And I worry about him in the city. I've gotten emails, from his school that were warning about incidents where, there were gang members stealing phones as they were walking to school. So it's definitely something that I have feelings about based on my own experiences and as a parent. And I think
you're overcomplicating this. Okay? You're either here legally on a green card, on a visa, or you're not. That's it. This is not rocket science. It's 2 + 2 is 4. You're either here legally or you're not. And if you're not, you got to go.
That's what we were kind of discussing. Except for Jamil. But we were discussing as moms.
I secretly think that maybe it's not a secret. Jamil's going to rule the world and one day
surviving a panel
be an inspiration
of
for everybody's kids. All right. And I want to come back to you too, Jamil, because you mentioned something about Brandon Johnson, who's one of the most far-left mayors in the country. And in fact, Democrat leaders, including Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, along with local mayors like Brandon Johnson and Boston's Michelle Wu, have repeatedly expressed their defiance, their resistance to Trump's immigration crackdown. Watch this.
We also have a law in the books in Illinois that says that our local law enforcement will stand up for those law-abiding, undocumented people in our state.
So you can't; those two things can't be true at the same time. If you're here illegally, undocumented. If you're here illegally, you're not law-abiding. So right there, that's completely false.
Doing the right thing, and we're not.
No, if you're here illegally, you're doing the wrong thing right away.
Going to help federal officials just drag them away.
Our police officers will not be cooperating with federal law enforcement around federal immigration law.
Police chiefs that follow these illegal orders from these mayors need to start being arrested. These mayors need to start being arrested.
Federal government can implement their laws, and we are not.
Their laws? If it's a federal law, it's your law, right? You're in the United States, so their law is your law since you're in the United States.
We are not forced to participate in their actions.
What this administration is attempting to do, he's attempting to get us to surrender our humanity. We're not going to do that in Chicago.
A bunch of nonsense. Cut it out. The virtue signaling, pandering crap. And you know what? If I'm one of these, I was a cop for 25 and a half years. I couldn't stand next to this guy at his press conferences as one of these high-ranking police chiefs. You know what? You guys, all these guys in the white shirts standing next to him, why don't you grow a pair and resign? Because you're all violating your oaths. You should all be arrested too. I'm just done. Yeah, 4 women and that young man there, and all voted for Donald Trump. And all you ever heard from the media is that that panel, everyone that, quote, looked like them, would never be voting for Donald Trump. Well, they still don't get it. They are lost. They are fighting Elon Musk on cutting all these ridiculous things that he's finding in just USAID. Forget about when he gets into the Department of Education. Forget about when he gets into the Pentagon. What's he going to find there? I'm starting to think that the $1 trillion or $2 trillion goal is in reach without touching Medicaid, Social Security, or any other entitlement program. SNAP, none of it. He doesn't have to touch any of it. And I think he could save $2 trillion. That's how much fraud, waste, and abuse is within all of these agencies. And it's a money laundering operation. Trump said it last night. Who's getting the kickbacks? Follow the money. Follow the money. How is these agencies are, and everybody's flipping out. They're not. Elon Musk isn't elected, and he has these 19-year-old kids doing all the. Who in those agencies is elected? These people aren't elected, and they're throwing our money all around the world like it's monopoly money. So you could lose that one. And besides the fact that when Joe Biden was president, he really wasn't there. His mind was gone for the entire time he was there. So we had unelected officials running his entire White House. Or maybe Joe Biden now and then. Maybe that's why she didn't want to back out more than him. She was more upset than he was when they threw him out. Because she was really the president. Maybe that's it. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time right here at Opinions Vary.
Opinions vary.